So what do you think people want more than anything else in the world? I'm sorry?
To be heard.
To be heard. That's exactly right. So, okay, he knew what the problem was, and he knew what the solution was, but that's not what she was looking for. And we have, just as humans, this thing about stepping in, knowing instead of learning. And the problem with it is that when people don't feel heard, then they don't feel valued or respected. So we can know everything. We can know as much as we want, and it just doesn't matter. Because what we want to do as leaders is be curious about what other people know and what other people need, okay? And Tara was talking about active listening, and I'm going to talk about active listening because you cannot be curious if you can't actively listen. It's impossible. And active listening is probably one of the hardest things in the world to do. So in my estimation, there are 3 types of listening. There's distracted listening, which we're all very good at, and we do constantly. And it's because this is how our world is. There are a lot of distractions. We've got our phone, we've got our email, we've got our children, we have our spouse, we have the weather, we have whatever it is. That distracts us from being able to really be present. And then, of course, we have active listening, the most important and yet the hardest. And then we have biased listening, which in my estimation as a leader is probably the most dangerous. And biased listening is knowing the answer or knowing what the other person's going to say before you even enter into the conversation. And you may be right, you may be wrong. But when we enter into a conversation believing we know the outcome, believing we know how it's going to go, that's how we start the conversation.